Ah, got it. Hopefully that's the last of them. Now then, today I'm jumping back in time past the last video, and we're going to take a look at installation of the feed drive system. Because there's just not a whole lot of information on the Cincinnati mills out there in terms of people that have refurbed them and repaired them and so on, I thought it'd be good to just at least show what goes into the transmission. So that's what today's video is all about. Throughout it, you'll see me trying to shine a light down various holes, and what that's about, just to give you a bit of an explanation, is the various bronze bushings that were used originally. I think when they used to assemble these, they'd assemble everything, get it all in place, get the right end float on the various shafts, and then drill through the locking holes, spot drill into the bronze bushings, and then install a locking set screw so they couldn't move. So when I reassembled this, I had to make sure that I got everything back in the right place. I was always looking down holes to make sure everything was lined up. Anyway, it all went very well, so that all worked out nicely. Next video up will be making more replacement parts to get this thing up and running. So we're starting to make some progress, and I'm looking forward to getting across the finish line, but little way to go yet. Reminder, if you would like a Shednanigans sticker, just shoot me an email here and let me know your address and I will send you one. Doesn't matter whether you've got a channel or not. If you would like one, I'll send you one. Just send me a note telling me where to send it and I'll pop one in the mail to you. All right, well, let's take a look. Got our bushing down there. Got our knackered bushing here, but I've drilled a new hole for a new grub screw. But before we go very far, it all has to go together at the same time. There's a tapered pin. Goes in here, and it sits in the tapered pin will be inside this counter bore, so you have to put the tapered pin in now, and that's all part of that prevents the pin coming out, which means that the gear can't come off and the bushing can't ride up out of the housing, and nor can the bushing down in the bottom. So it's all kind of self-locked. At the same time, I have to line up the locking hole. I'm using a brass rod to drift this in. Yep, perfect. What happened was the pinhole was slightly off, but I thought it was close enough that when this went in, it would sort of push it around, and that's exactly what happened. It was close enough to do that. So we can now lock that bearing in. We know that's in the right place. So we know this gear is now situated. And what they do to stop those screws coming out is put in another set screw behind it. Won't do that just yet. There we go, and then that goes in there. Yeah, and so there you go, that's how that gets engaged. Now, I'm still not going to put the big bushing in. I'm going to put the other part of the downfeed in and make sure that that is all in, because I think this may have to go in first. This needs a little bit of a clean. It's also 20 past 4, which means I have to go and feed the cats. Huh. I only took this apart to clean all the gunge out of it. That's it. Just having discovered that, I couldn't leave it in there. That's a half of a job, and that just won't do. That won't do. And we'll pop one in there. Just have a delicious sip of my coffee on a Sunday morning. I'm putting in all new set screws because most of the ones that came out were tarshalled, which is a technical term that I would love for the entire population of the world to take up. I didn't invent it. Let me get something under here to support it a bit. Flashy lighty. That the set screw hole is coming through. Right, hole is there, so we'll lock that in. Right, now for the wrong way to do this. Okay, so I say that was the wrong way, but that actually went pretty smoothly, eh? Beauty. Smooth and lovely. Now I think right, we'll assemble this now. And then this side we've got the friction clutch. This gear goes on there. With a little bit of angle to stop the oil running out. There we are. Somewhere is the spot for the key, just there. Woodruff key. And then this is the cone. And then this is the lock nut. And there's a small brass plug with the set screw, so that the set screw doesn't tarsh all the threads on here too badly. probably about right. The manual explains that the spring is not a return spring, it's just to balance the weight of the assembly. Feels good though. Alright, okay, that worked out. Just. Right, clutch adjustment, pretty simple. The cone has to be all the way in, and there needs to be a 1/10 thou, which is 1/4 of a millimeter gap between this nut and the cone. So that's there. Easy peasy. Now these pins will push the cone in. There's this knob which goes on the outside of the cover, but when this is pushed in, it pushes the pins through the nut into the cone and into the receiving cone. So that's that good to go. This is the spindle lock assembly, and it's just a plunger, and it's there's a spring and ball behind that screw. So there's 2 positions, and when you push it in, this engages with the spindle and stops it from rotating, so you can hold it. Anyway, let's preemptively get some thread lock in there. This is a gel. It's supposed to be thick like this, and it's so that it hangs on to fasteners when you're in awkward upside down type situations.